Alright, hey guys, today we're going to be installing what I consider to be the absolute very best high-lift mount for the Jeep JKU Made. It's a kit made by a company called Dominion Offroad, and it allows you to seamlessly mount a 48-inch high-lift jack in the rear of your Jeep out of the elements. Alright, we're also going to be installing the Dominion Offroad Hi-Lift Accessory Mount kit, which allows you to mount 2 tools or accessories to your high-lift jack, and also our Hi-Lift OffRoad Base. Alright, if you guys are interested in doing this project yourself, or if you're interested in buying any of the products you see in this video, I will include links in the video description down below. Before we get started, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up to let me know that I'm doing a good job and you like my content. As always, make sure you hit that notification bell, and don't forget to subscribe. All right, let's do it. Okay, so you can see I've laid out everything that we're going to be using today. We have our awesome new 48-inch high-lift X-Treme jack. I have my really handy shovel that I've had for a long time and really like. We have our cool new 28-inch Fiskars Chopping Axe, which I think is going to be a really nice addition. We have our Hi-Lift OffRoad Base. We have our Hi-Lift handle keeper to hopefully keep the jack from rattling in the back of the Jeep. And then of course we have our Dominion Offroad Hi-Lift mounting brackets. Along with that, we have some hardware that came with the brackets, some instructions, and then some really cool stickers, because you gotta have really cool stickers. Another addition to that was I bought some hardware from my local hardware store to make this bracket work with our XG cargo bags, which we already have in place. You can see this is the factory bolt that we would use to mount these brackets, and we needed something just a little bit longer. And if you're wondering, this is an M8 by 1.25 thread pitch. You can see that the factory bolt just doesn't have enough length, so we had to get something just a little bit longer. All right. Also, we have our really cool Dominion Offroad tool mounts. You can see it comes disassembled with hardware and instructions, but I went ahead and put one together just so you could see what we're working with here. You can see how those mount. All right. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to be able to make all of this work with our off-road base. If you've already watched the intro, then you know, but I think everything's going to work just fine. All right, let's get it done. The first thing we're going to want to do is go to the top of our rear C-pillar and unzip our roll bar padding, and that will expose this single 13mm bolt. And normally, you would remove that bolt and then put this bracket in place and then replace it and be done with it. And you can see there's this metal stud which slides right into this hole. But since we already have our XG cargo bracket in place, what we're going to go ahead and do is put our Dominion bracket in place and then sandwich this over the top. And then that's when our extra hardware will come into play. All right. So let's get this removed and then get it in place and see how it works. Like I was saying, that metal stud is going to slide right into place, and that's kind of how you locate this bracket. And then this guy is going to go right over the top. All right, looks like it should work. And like I was saying, might take a second to get lined up. Okay, and then once that's in place, you can see it should work just fine. We're going to get that tightened down, and we'll get to work on the other side. All right. Then you can see works perfectly. Nice and secure. We got this guy in place. Nothing's moving. All right, looks good. On our passenger side, you can see I've already removed that 13mm bolt, and then get a better look. That's where our thread's at. And then once again, this metal stud into that hole right there. All right, so let's slide that in to locate. And there we go. And once again, the hard part will be locating that hole for our bolt. Oh, nice, went right in. All right, then we'll just tighten that down, and then we'll do a test fit on our jack and get our tool mounts in place. All right, looks good. And then, I don't know how much of a big deal it is to you, but one thing is your roll bar padding really isn't gonna go back the way it was, but I don't know, I don't really mind. All right, now that our brackets are in place, you can see how the base of our Hi-Lift has a series of holes. Sorry, this thing's really heavy. And what we're gonna do is slide, oh, right. All right. We're gonna slide those holes right over our bolt and then the top metal stud. Then using the supplied 14mm nut, just secure that in place. Not too tight, but just snug. For our passenger side, you can see we have this large bolt that's included with our hardware, and you simply drop that right down into place. And then we have this 19mm nut, which will go right on, and we'll just tighten that down into place. Just like the other side, not super tight, just nice and snug. And I've actually seen where some people have replaced this with a wing nut, and I actually think that's a pretty decent idea, but I always carry tools on me, so it's not that big of a deal. Okay, now we're gonna mount our off-road base, and you can see that it has these two holes in one side, which are actually meant for mounting it to the Hi-Lift. So like I was saying, I was able to just source these bolts and washers, which I had laying around. And what I think I'm gonna do is, oh, that's perfect, try to put it right here in the middle. And the way this sits against my Ursa Minor top, it's actually pretty much perfectly flush. And if anything, it'll help it keep things a little bit sturdier. And then I have just enough room to mount these washers and nuts. And this is also a 14mm, which was pretty fortunate because it's the same size as the driver's side mounting bolt. So I'm going to go ahead and secure those, and then once again just tighten it down. All right, perfect. This is another spot where it'd actually be really nice to have some wing nuts, and I might work on that in the future. But yeah, overall it's pretty perfect. All right, perfect. I gotta say, these bolts were actually the perfect size for this also. It worked out really well. To assemble our tool holders, you can see we have this metal plate, our two quick fist clamps, and then some simple hardware. So pretty much you're gonna have this piece of plastic, insert screw through there, see what that looks like. And then it's very important for these to work properly. You'll notice how there's like a slight divot. So you're gonna wanna lay these with the bolts facing upwards, and then these clamps basically facing opposite of one another. And then you'll notice there's a series of holes there. You wanna put one of those guys in the farthest hole, that guy there, and you can pretty much see what that looks like. And then we have these little nylock bolts. Get those started. All right, and then I believe these are actually a 3/16, but I have a 10mm right here, so that's what I'm going to use. And then pretty much just put our Phillips through like that, and then just tighten them down. And once again, not too tight, just snug, and try to kind of, you know, match them up, get them in a line. So I'm going to get them both mostly tight, and snug them down. Okay, and like I said, not super tight because you don't want to put too much pressure on this plastic piece, and believe me, they will hold. I've used these in the past and they work really well. And see how that looks? Straighten them out a little bit. And then of course, these wing nuts are going to screw right on. Okay. Let's get our tools mounted. All right, so you can see I already put our tool holder in on our passenger side, and I gotta say it's pretty darn secure. And now real quick, we're gonna do the driver's side. And I just wanna note, I did have to move this handle retainer to get this in place right here, but I think it's gonna be a really good fit. All right, and that is super snug. Yeah, it's nice and tight. And those things are great. And I wanna add, you don't just have to use these back here with this setup like the way it is. If you have a Hi-Lift mounted to the outside of your Jeep, like the rear tailgate mounts that you can find from, Terraflex and other companies, this will work just fine. But the only thing is you do run the risk of somebody walking off with it. Okay, now that we have our tool mounts in place, let's get some tools mounted. I'm not gonna lie, I did play with this for a minute to figure out what orientation I wanted to go with. And I think this is what's going to work best. All right, so that's pretty snug. And then this guy should go right in there. All right. Beautiful. This guy should go all the way to the top. Okay, not too bad. Yeah, everything's really secure. I can maybe get this up to the next notch, but other than that, it's pretty good. One thing I'm gonna do next, I take this off. I might put these plates in just one closer, but I don't know, I think this will work for now. All right, and there you have it, folks. Not too shabby. I think it works really well. We have successfully mounted a 48-inch Hi-Lift X-Treme jack, an axe, a shovel, the off-road base, pretty much everything on the inside of our Jeep. Nothing on the outside of the Jeep to get stolen or, accidentally walk away while we're not looking. It's pretty nice. Yeah, I liked it a lot. All right, guys, as I often say, I am pretty pleased with myself. This kit made by Dominion Offroad just works really well. Yeah, I definitely think, as their description says, this really is the best way to mount a Hi-Lift jack in the Jeep JKU Made. If you do want to do this yourself, there are a couple different considerations. One being this kit will only work with a 48-inch jack, because a 60-inch jack is obviously just too long. If you have a Jeep JL, they do have a kit specifically for the JL, so that is an option. Another is if you have certain types of tops, like the factory soft top, there will be some interference when you go to raise and lower your soft top, so you have to remove the jack, but from what I understand, it will work. Another thing is if you have certain types of aftermarket bikini tops, you might have some issues also. But as long as you're running a factory hard top or an Ursa Minor top, you will absolutely have no problems, and it's a great fit. I'm also really pleased with these accessory mounts. I think they work really well. I'm super pleased with how well they fit and how easy they go on. I think it's a really great design. Yeah, it's just super simple but works really well. Also, I wanted to see and show if this off-road base would mount the way that Hi-Lift intended with the Ursa Minor top, and I think we've shown that it does perfectly. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm thinking, I don't know if you can hear that, I might end up adding something, or maybe a piece of foam or a small bungee cord, just to stop any potential rattle, but I really don't think that's gonna be an issue for the time being. Yeah. All right, guys, well, I really hope you like this video. I hope you find it useful. As always, like I've said, if you are interested in getting any of these products or doing this yourself, I will include product links in the video description down below where you can find everything. But yeah, for now, yeah, you guys are taking it easy, and as always, like I say, you know, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. You know, let me know that you like what I'm doing. Really help me out with YouTube's algorithm. You know, don't forget to hit that notification bell, and as always, feel free to subscribe. All right, you guys take it easy.